2:35 in the afternoon. Welcome back to the Eddie Burke Show. That's right, we're sticking up for the people here. We're doing what's right. Jerry McClutchin. Jerry wrote me an email. We're talking about this. Now, Jerry writes in a lot and stuff, but he's just... Jerry, let me tell you something. You need to go... You've been smoking some dope or something? Here, listen to what he has to say. Palin should be impeached. I mean, this is information that he sent out to the legislature. Palin should be impeached. Palin's using the rejection of Alaska stimulus funds and prostituting Alaska for Palin's national campaign. That is nuts. Whether the funding is temporary or not. A psychopath on the national campaign trail. This is what he's referring to, the governor. If accepting stimulus funds helps 1,000 men and women and children, even for a short time, is better than no help at all. Jerry, even if you gotta pay for it after that, who's gonna pay, Jerry? Huh? Who's gonna pay? What's going to happen afterward? Who's going to help the same women and men and children that you're asking to help here for short term? May I remind, he goes on, says, may I remind you that the legislature has a budget that cannot be sustained, thus programs you are funding today you will have to cut in future years, and it is Alaska's money you are using with the legislature, bloated budget that cannot be sustained. Well, here he is talking about non-sustainable budgets, but he wants to take in more port money and create future unsustainable budgets. Isn't this the problem, Denny? Isn't this exactly what the NFIB is trying to avoid? Is recognizing, I mean, we're recognizing we're in a problem today. Just adding more pork on to things and starting up new programs or programs that can't be sustained in future years is absolutely moronic.
Well, Eddie, let's take a step back from that. One thing is to have all kinds of budget issues out there and budget appropriations we can't sustain, but let's take a step back. Fact of the matter is, when we take money away from businesses and give it to the government, it doesn't become productive. It doesn't create new jobs.
No.
It does not keep people employed. To the extent that we increase taxes on small businesses, the only place they can go is to lay people off. So the mystery in my mind is, what's so great about getting people laid off as opposed to letting businesses function and create new jobs and keep more people employed?
Is it okay to... You know, Denny, is it okay, though, to prop them up a job to today so that in 6 months we can lay them off? Isn't that ridiculous? I mean, or do we
Absolutely.
We have to deal with the problem today? We can't throw phony money at something and give people a job for 6 months and make them think that, okay, well, here you go, you know, this might work.
Well, and that's the problem. That's what's gotten us into this problem. What we need to do is we need to be supportive of small businesses, which provide about 80% of the jobs in this state and in America, and help them as we create jobs that are long-term, that are good-paying, and that are sustainable.
Exactly.
That's what we need to be doing. And government doesn't do that.
Exactly.
Government is not something that produces anything. They simply move stuff around and take a cut off the top.
What else is going on with the National Federation of Independent Business, Denny? Is there other things that you're working on out there that are on top of your mind right now?
Well, there's a bill in that would require mandatory sick leave, which, again, is a problem for small businesses who have been able to work with their employees to work out situations that work in a vast array of different settings. We've got legislation proposed that would make everybody, fit into one little idea. There are several mandated extensions of health insurance, which drives the price to the point where instead of covering people, employers are saying, I can no longer afford it. So we're creating these gold-plated notions of insurance, but what we're really doing is ending up, again, taking those benefits away from people because small employers simply can't afford them.
Has the NFI... Go ahead.
A lot of what we do when the legislature is in session is try and share how these ideas impact people who are actually really working, really creating jobs, really employing people, and really are the backbone of the economy of this state.
What do you say to people like Jerry who, they're not concerned about the long term? Okay, well, I don't want to speak for them, but they just want, even if accepting stimulus funds helps 1,000 men, women, and children, even for a short time, it's better than no help at all. There got to be people out there. Well, what do you say to those folks?
To start with, I don't think that he's right on his premise that it's going to help all that many people.
Right.
Most of what the governor denied was building up state bureaucracy. That's not what's going to help people over the long term. Putting that same amount of money, this money's got to come from somewhere. It's going to come from taxes. So you're taking money away from people who could invest it in purchasing things, in building their businesses, expanding their businesses. What we need to do is we need to get out of this notion that when the government spends money, somehow it just comes from heaven. It comes out of your pocket and my pocket and the pocket of all our employees. It isn't free.
Yeah. I heard, I asked this question to somebody the other day, and they said, yeah, I think they really care, the public does, but sometimes we hear this, we're going, this is going to send the country into bankruptcy, and this, I don't know that people really get it. I don't know. I'm not saying people don't understand it or whatever, but it's, that term has been used so much, I don't know if it really impacts people. What's your sense out there of people's emotion on this issue?
I think there are an awful lot of people that are very concerned about this. I know part of the problem is the folks I represent, and you know a lot of them, they're busy working 12, 15 hours a day trying to keep their businesses afloat. That's why they asked me to come down here and speak on their behalf. But when I talk to them, they are fundamentally concerned. They are being very guarded about whether or not they can expand into different areas, whether or not they can offer another job, because they're afraid that things like stimulus money and the requirements in it, those taxes are going to come due, and at that point in time, they're going to have to cut back on their businesses. They're going to have to cut somewhere because their taxes are going to go up. And
isn't that what? And I'm picking on Jerry here because he sent me this ridiculous email. But isn't that what Jerry's missing? Is that just because Dad can go out and buy a snow machine for us all today, what about the impact that decision is going to have in weeks and months and years to come? We might have fun this weekend, but doggone it, we're going to lose the house tomorrow.
Well, that's exactly right, and I think there are more and more people concerned about that, and, that's what we have to get over that, but you don't get over that by downstream promises of higher taxes, more confiscation of the income of you and me and the other employees in Alaska.
Right.
That's not how you get over it.
Because if Governor Palin was to accept some of this money, it would create, let's just, in this case, unemployment insurance that after a short term would have to be sustained some other way.
That's right, and those taxes fall on our employees.
Right. And it's not just the employer going to pay it, it's the employees too.
That's exactly right.
And then down the road, the employee is going to be ultimately hurt by it. And I don't get the thinking. I appreciate you though calling in today and helping us out with this thought process, because it's I don't know, it's very interesting. Denny, anything else before I cut you loose here?
No, actually, I'm going to have to run. I appreciate the time you've taken with me. It's always good chatting with you and your listeners.
Thank you so much, Denny Dewitt, National Federation of Independent Business. Hey, Denny, is there anything that people can get a hold of you at, or anything like that you'd like to give out?
If you go to nfib.org/AK, we have a website.
Okay.
A lot of information on it.
All right. Thank you so much, Denny Dewitt. Always enjoy talking with you, buddy.